on the field and those who make them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the PA Football News pregame report here live from Cumberland Valley. We're at Chapman Field. We've got a big game coming up for you today. We've got the Leopards of Belle, Vernon, and we've got the Tigers coming out of District 11 from Northwestern Lehigh. What a great game. We've got Brian and we've got Hollywood Tuschinski on the ground, as well as Pro Time, our two biggest celebrities on our website. They're going to bring it to you live. They're going to tell you about this game. But right now we want to thank our sponsors. We want to start off with Safersports.com. Safersports.com builds helmet covers to protect our players from concussion on the field. Their helmet covers are NFHS approved. You can wear them during the game. I want to thank Turf Tank. If you have grass fields, you need to get a Turf Tank. They'll save you hundreds and hundreds of hours lining your fields and give you quality fields. I want to thank Kevin James at Sports Paradise. If you need uniforms, contact Kevin James from Sports Paradise. He can hook you up with uniforms from any program for any team that you have, including lacrosse and soccer, hockey, whatever you've got. Ask him about sublimated uniforms. I want to thank Coach Com. Coach Com is always a great sponsor of ours. They're creating communications for coaches on the field across America that make their game better. We want to thank the Funding Zone. The Funding Zone raises money for anywhere. If you need money for your program, you need to get a hold of the Funding Zone. There's just no reason not to have the Funding Zone. If you have a church, you have a sports team, anything like that, just get a hold of the Funding Zone. And finally, we want to thank St. Luke's Sports Medicine. St. Luke's Sports Medicine is the medical sponsor for this entire weekend here at Cumberland Valley, and they're also one of our biggest sponsors. So thanks to St. Luke's for being a sponsor on our website. Right now, we're going to take you down live to Brian, Hollywood Tuschinski, and Phil Protime Myers.
Here we are, live from the Chap, home of the Cumberland Valley High School Eagles. This is Phil Protime Myers with Brian Hollywood Stashny, and we're going to preview today's game between the Belle Vernon Leopards, who are 12-1, and the Northwestern Lehigh Tigers, who are 15-0. What are your thoughts on the game there, Brian?
Well, it's like you said, 12-1 versus 15-0. Northwestern Lehigh coming in from Lehigh Valley, District 11, looking for their first District 11 championship for District 11 since 2010 with Allentown Central Catholic. They come out with a pretty good offense, scoring about 44 points a game. Shane Lay, quarterback, about 1,700 yards passing, 23 touchdowns. Running back is Dalton Clymer, sorry. He has about 1,800 yards and 34 touchdowns.
Wow. Yeah, and their defense is pretty good, too. They've been pretty solid. They've stopped some pretty good teams like Scranton Prep, right? Last week helped a real tough Wyomissing team, really.
Yeah, they had to come from behind to beat Wyomissing last week, down by 10 points. They came back and scored, beat them. The only close game they had was really a 24-21 win over Blue Mountain in week 4. But after that, they've been pretty much rolling teams. They beat a very good 5A Southern Lehigh team. Defeated Palmerton for the district championship 58-6.
Wow.
Yeah, so they're pretty solid up front.
And the other side of it here, we have the defending state AAA champions. We have the Belle Vernon Leopards coming back with a lot of the team that they won last year in a close one that came right down to the end where they beat Newman Goretti 9-8. But the star of the team is the Penn State recruit Quentin Martin. And Belle Vernon uses him differently than a lot of other stars. What they'll do is they'll split him out like a slashback sometimes. He is actually their leading rusher with over 1,000 yards and about 15 touchdowns. But he's also their leading receiver with over 700 yards and 11 touchdowns. And on defense, he's a lockdown. He's going to prevent havoc. They'll move him around the field. He's kind of a jack of all trades, and they don't overuse him, though, because they have other weapons.
Yeah, he had the game-winning touchdown here last year.
Yes, he did. That's right. And their quarterback, Braden Locks, he'll throw the ball, and he has about 1,800 yards and 1,500 yards and 18 touchdowns. And then they use 3 running backs. They'll have Cole Doppelheimer, and they also have the Jake Gettico kid, and they all are very dangerous. So Northwestern's defense is going to have their hands full with the Belle Vernon offense that's very diversified, and sometimes they even use Quentin Martin as a decoy. So.
Well, Northwestern Lehigh does come in with 25 interceptions on defense and 15 forced turnovers on fumbles.
So that's almost 3 turnovers a game they get. So look for that too. They can swipe the ball pretty easily.
Yeah, Eli Zimmerman, defensive back, has 10 interceptions, 1 return for a touchdown this year. So he's a small little guy. He's only about 140 pounds, but he is all over the field.
We're looking for a good game in this one. Both teams score over 40 points a game. Both give up 14, 16 points, which may not be the greatest, but both teams have played some very tough competition to get here. Belle Vernon, I believe's only loss was to Thomas Jefferson, a 4A team, and Belle Vernon's looking to defend their state championship. Northwestern Lehigh, I believe, is the first time they've ever been here.
This will be their first time here, so it's going to be the pressure of that. They can't get behind against Belle Vernon, because if they get behind like they did against Wyomissing, they're not going to come back against this team.
Right. I think Belle Vernon has a pretty tough defense. I think both teams want to jump out in front. Both teams are going to be physical. It should be a good game. We're looking forward to it. We'll be back here at halftime. Any other comments, Brian?
I have nothing right now.
Okay, so we're going to be back at halftime, and we'll give you a live report at halftime, see what's going on in the first half. Again, it's the Belle Vernon Leopards against the Northwestern Lehigh Tigers. And we're looking forward to a great game.
See you at halftime.
All right, thanks, guys, and we appreciate you on the field. Hollywood and Pro Time, 2 of our most famous guys on our website. Hey, again, we want to thank our sponsors, Turf Tank. Turf Tank, you got to have one. If you have grass fields, you need a turf tank. It'll save you hundreds and hundreds of hours. We got to thank Safer Sports. Safer Sports is building helmet covers for our players to keep them safe. They are NFHS approved, and they are proven to help prevent concussions. We want to thank Sports Paradise. If you need uniforms for any team in your school, or if you've got a church league softball team, you want to get a hold of Kevin James for Sports Paradise. Ask them about their sublimated uniforms. You'll like that product. Got to thank Coach Com. Coach Com is creating better communications for coaches all across the nation in all different sports. I want to thank Funding Zone. The Funding Zone is our main sponsor on our website. We can't do anything without the Funding Zone, and neither can you. You got to get a hold of the Funding Zone if you need to raise money, because they can help you raise money in record chunks. Just get a hold of the Funding Zone. If you've got lacrosse, football, baseball, whatever program you have, if you have a church league softball team, you need Funding Zone. Finally, I want to thank St. Luke's. St. Luke's came on this year as a sponsor. St. Luke's is a sponsor, the sports medicine company for the entire weekend here of the state championship games, and they're a sponsor on our website, so got to thank St. Luke's. Hey, folks, we're going to be back at halftime to tell you how the game's going and give you some of the keys to what happened during the game, so please come back at halftime and check it out. Until then, we'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the halftime show. We've got a barn burner of a game here today. We're going to go down live, but first we're going to thank our sponsors, SaferSports.com, Turf Tank, St. Luke's, Coach Com, the Funding Zone, and Sports Paradise. We're going to take you down live to the field with Brian Hollywood Tuschinski and Phil Pro Time Myers. Gentlemen, take it away.
Yes, this is Phil Myers here, halftime of the Belle Vernon Northwest Lehigh game, where Belle Vernon leads 21-7. Quite an interesting first half, Brian.
Yeah, for sure. Belle Vernon starts out with a 71-yard kickoff return to start the game,
right,
and then a 62-yard touchdown run right after that to jump out of 14-0.
And that was on a broken play, too.
Yes, it was. Yeah, they ran a little bit to the right, and he had to come all the way back to the left side, and it was wide open.
Right. And then Northwest Lehigh, shades of last year. Belle Vernon holds them again at the 1 yard line, another goal line stand.
Yeah, another goal line stand, but this time a 99-yard drive, capped off on a 1 yard run for a touchdown to put it up 21-0. Looked like this game was going to get out of hand.
And all of a sudden, a couple pass plays, and Northwest Lehigh, again, a gritty team and never gave up. And they put themselves right back in the game by scoring late here in the first half to make it 21-7. And on top of that, they're going to get the kickoff to start the second half. Boy, if they go down and score and make it a one-score game, now all of a sudden it's interesting.
Yeah, a 17-yard touchdown pass with just about a minute left to go before halftime. Shane Lay hit his receiver in the corner, make it 21-7. Like you said, and they'll get the second half kickoff. They can do something with that. We got a game for the second half.
That's right, and Belle Vernon has been looking real good. They've only had to punt one time in this game, but it isn't like they're holding Northwest Lehigh. I think every possession Northwest Lehigh got, they've moved the ball and got at least one first down, if not a couple.
Yeah, they've moved the ball pretty well. They just got to finish the drive, so that's what the big thing right now.
Yeah, and what's your other big impression of the game so far? I think the defenses haven't been playing well, like two big broken plays, the kickoff return and that broken play where the kid fumbled and then reversed his field. Otherwise, we might have a 7-7 game.
You might have that. You're exactly right. It's just, and then they got that lucky on that fumble return on that punt return.
Right.
And Northwestern got the ball back off that fumble, and that kind of changed the momentum a little bit too.
Right, and then again, if they punch it in the end zone there where they got held on the 1 yard line, it's 21-14 at half. But the game's full of ifs. You just never know. That's why they play the game. And Northwestern, last week, they were down by 2 scores against Wyomissing, so don't count them out.
No, both lines, the offensive lines for both teams are doing a really good job. They're opening up the holes for their running backs. Dalton Clymer's had a really good first half so far.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting second half here. Belle Vernon 21, Northwest Lehigh 7. Northwest gets the kick to start the second half, and there could be a lot of fireworks in the second half. So stay tuned. This is Phil Myers and Brian
Tashinsky, close enough.
Yeah, it's a tongue twister. Signing off. We'll see you after the game.
It's all right, don't worry.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. And once again, this halftime report from Cumberland Valley is brought to you by Safer Sports. Safer Sports is creating helmet covers to keep our players safe. NFHS approved. You can wear them during the game. We want to thank Turf Tank. If you have grass fields, we got to thank Turf Tank, and you got to get one because Turf Tank can save you hundreds of hours. I want to thank Sports Paradise. If you have a team that needs uniforms, whether it's a church league softball team or a high school team or even a college team, you got to get a hold of Kevin James at Sports Paradise. Ask him about his sublimated uniforms. I want to thank Coach Com, creating communications on the sidelines, better communications for coaches all over the country. And finally, we got to thank the Funding Zone. The Funding Zone is a place where the company where you can raise money in record chunks. The Funding Zone can help you raise all the money you need for your programs, whether you've got a hockey team, a soccer team, lacrosse, no matter what. Get a hold of the Funding Zone. They'll help you raise money. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We're going to be back at the post-game to tell you how everything went and what happened during the game. So tune in after the game, and we'll get you up to date. For now, I'm Billy. Thanks for tuning in. All right. Welcome to the PA Football News post-game report. This report is brought to you by St. Luke's, Safer Sports, CoachCom, Funding Zone, Sports Paradise, and Turf Tank. Belle Vernon has won and repeated as the 3A champions. We're going to take you down to the field live with Brian, Hollywood Tuschinski, and Pro Time.
All right, here we are, the end of the Belle Vernon game with Northwestern Lehigh. This is Phil Pro Time Myers with my partner,
Brian Tuschinski.
And it didn't turn out the way a lot of pundits thought. We thought it would be a close game, but Belle Vernon was just a little too much as they end up defeating Northwestern Lehigh 38-7. Brian, your thoughts?
Yeah, again, Belle Vernon, defending champions, really showed it this tonight. Just total domination, offensively and defensively.
Right. Northwestern Lehigh got on the board, trailing 21-0 at the end of the first half, and with getting the kickoff for the second half, we thought, boy, if they go down and score and make it a one-score game. But that didn't happen, and then what happened was Quentin Martin, for the Penn State commit, went 92 yards and probably put the nail in the coffin as Belle Vernon's here celebrating. And they went on to kick, might be a record, I don't know if record for the whole, but for 3A, I don't know.
Might be.
40-yard field goal.
Yeah, it might be. Again, they just totally dominated, like you said. Northwestern Lehigh drove down to like the 8-yard line, got stopped.
Right.
And then the first play turns the corner and off to the races.
That's right. You never know what's going to happen in these games. And Belle Vernon, though, I think the physicality of Belle Vernon, we know that Northwestern Lehigh is physical and gritty team, but they're also a young team. They only have 5 seniors. And I think Belle Vernon's maturity and physicality, again, this might be the third game that will happen this weekend.
And again, their experience being here before last year, winning it 9-8 against a good McDevitt team last year, kind of helped them in this game as well.
Right, so that's back-to-back championships for the Belle Vernon Leopards here in the 3A, and Northwestern's first trip, so they get that experience. But look for Northwestern to do well next year. Not saying they'll get here, but the Tigers certainly have a young team, and they're a good team.
Northwestern will be the favorites in 3A next year in District 11. Like you said, they only lost 5 players. They're going to have the majority of these kids back. They have that experience, so we'll see what happens.
That's right, and Belle Vernon's moving up to 4A next year, so they definitely won't be in this 3A game. So you never know. So once again, it's Belle Vernon 38 to 7 over Northwestern Lehigh. This is Phil Myers signing off.
Brian Tuschinski.
And the next game, North Allegheny will be taking on number 7 rank in the country, St. Joe's Prep.
Yeah, it should be a interesting ball game.
Interesting game. So that's it for now. We'll talk to you later.
All right, thanks, guys, and appreciate your work there on the field. And once again, this game is brought to you by, this post-game report brought to you by SaferSports.com. Safer Sports, building helmet covers that keep our kids safe from concussions on the field. Brought to you by St. Luke's Sports Medicine. St. Luke's, the official healthcare sponsor of the PIAA Championship Weekend. Brought to you by CoachCom. CoachCom, creating communication for coaches that just improves your game. Thanks to Sports Paradise. Sports Paradise, if you need uniforms, contact Sports Paradise and Kevin James and the Funding Zone. Got to thank the Funding Zone. If you need to raise money to get any of those products that we're talking about, contact the Funding Zone. And finally, Turf Tank. If you have grass field, you need Turf Tank to save you hundreds of hours. You can find the information for all of our sponsors on our website, pafootballnews.com. For our staff right now, signing off until this evening at 6:40 p.m., we'll bring you the pregame report for St. Joe's Prep and North Allegheny. Thanks for tuning in.